Hi guys, this is Carmen for the New Happy Me, and I just wanted to add this quick video to share my story about how I've been using the abundance mentality to go with the flow, set my intentions, and make my dreams come true. It's a story about how I got this house that I'm living in right now. As a single mom, it's quite rare in that demographic to see a mom with two kids owning a house, owning a separate rental property as well in the city, and not having done that through a divorce settlement. In fact, in my case, my divorce cost me $25,000, so it left me in quite a big financial mess. But I had set my intention that I wanted to own a house. I didn't want to rent. That's because I like space. I've always lived in a house, so I wanted the space for myself, for my children, and eventually I wanted to get dogs in my house as well. I wanted to have dogs in my family. That's something that was very important for me. I didn't know how I would do all this, but I knew I wanted to do it. So the first thing that I did after the divorce, after going into an apartment for a year and not liking that experience, I just decided that I really wanted to buy a house, and I would start with a small house with the intention of buying a bigger house later on. So with the first house, as soon as I started looking into it, I fell on this house that was the ugliest house that you can find, the ugliest picture on MLS. But something attracted me to it, so I went to see what it's all about. It was a succession. It was a man who had passed away. The wife had been placed in a senior's home, and the daughter was trying to sell this house, which was totally not sellable because not only was it ugly on the pictures, but inside looked like a funeral home. It really needed a lot of renovations. But I wasn't afraid of that. The house came so cheap that I was ready to put in the money for the renovations after the purchase, and it just made total sense. It was a smaller house that really fit my budget, and I would be able to renovate it, live in it for about 5 years, the term of the mortgage, and see where I go from there. The intention being that I'd want to buy a bigger house. So that's exactly what happened. I don't know how I did it exactly, but it just happened, and it was magical, and it was perfect that way. Within 3 years, I started looking for another house. But see, I had set my intention to buy another house within 5 years, within the term of my mortgage. So it wasn't really quite the right time. And in fact, I couldn't find a house that suited my purposes, that was nice enough, big enough, within a good price range, because it was just not the right time for me. So then I continued living in that house, feeling claustrophobic at times, but just saying, you know what? If this is meant to be, this is meant to be. Magically, things will happen. And magically, things did happen. Because, in fact, when I was ready to start renegotiating for another 5 years term on my mortgage, I started thinking of building a business. My revenue went up because I got a promotion, and so my situation changed. And now when I was ready to look for a house, I was looking for a house that was different from the one that I'd be looking at a year prior at the 3-year term. So the day that I started looking, I found the listing for this house. It had been listed for some time. An offer had actually been refused or not accepted for some reason, some budget reason, some financial issues. And so the price had gone a bit lower and relisted. The people wanted to sell and wanted to move by a certain time. I called my real estate agent and I said, I'm ready to go on the market. This is the first house that I saw. It may not be the right one for me, but can we look at it? So she called me right back. She said, Carmen, maybe good news, maybe bad news. You tell me. You need to put an offer on this house today if you want it, because there's another offer going in today as well. What do I do with that? My other house is not sold. I have no idea what I'm going to do with that. I haven't thought about refinancing it yet. I was just starting. So do I put in an offer or not? Well, you know what? Things happen for a reason, and things happen magically when you set your intentions and you just have that abundance mentality where you can just let go. You just float. You let the flow float you to where you need to go. And so that's what I did. She told me to place the offer. I just placed the offer and trusted that within my abundance mentality, something would happen that would allow this to be true for me. If it wasn't meant to be, I just get that message. So I placed the offer, and after a bit of back and forth, not a big deal, the other offer got bumped out and I got the house. And so now there were other issues to kind of adjust, namely knowing what I'm going to do with the other house and finding the down payment for this one, because nothing had really been settled yet and I had 10 days to do it. But I just trusted with an abundance mentality that I would just go with the flow and get my answers through just trusting that things would happen the way they needed to happen. And so that's exactly what happened. I just refinanced my house with $10,000 more on the mortgage that I owed on it, and that $10,000 served for the down payment, which was perfect. And I placed an ad to rent the property, and I got tenants right away. It was as easy as that. It was absolutely magical. And it all started with an intention, and it all started with trusting. That abundance mentality will make you just go with the flow, will allow you to float through the challenges and get exactly what you need when you need it. So I hope the story helped to encourage you to go with that abundance mentality. Just breathe it in. Breathe in gratitude for whatever experience you live and go with the flow with the abundance mentality.